Yeah. Let me drop exclusive game from my exclusive mind. You be out here chasing fame, I stay steady on my grind. Zero diamonds, zero.
Thank you for tapping into the Exclusive Minds podcast. Today we're going to be having an exclusive conversation with exclusive content from Exclusive Minds. I'm your host, Rook, and
Joe.
Let's get right into it.
Episode 40, the big 4-0. Good Lord.
Whoop, whoop.
So I think we're, 2 weeks out again? So we...
Well, wait, hold on. We have an excuse. It was my birthday last week. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday. I forgot about that.
All good,
I didn't
all
forget
good.
about that, but I mean, I forgot
You did
about
wish
that.
me a happy birthday. But, you know, we'll just throw that out there just so it's like, oh, we forgot because of that. You know, we were out at Vegas. Me and Joe were putting a lot of money on blackjack. It was the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
We won. We're entering our... the D-Gen era, I think, is what you call it, a D-Gen arc, you know what I mean? Like, we're just going all Vegas on people now.
There we go. That'll work, man. Vegas is cool. It's a
Never
fun
been.
place. You've never been to Vegas?
Never been to Vegas.
Oh, you got to go.
Maybe like a layover or something, but never been to Vegas.
I mean, it's got nothing to
was
do with
old enough.
gambling anymore. It's crazy. You can have so much fun without ever touching gambling.
It's kind of funny. I just started, all right, so like kind of parlaying off of that, funny enough, parlay. You said gambling, and I just started getting more into like football because the Eagles are on like a hot streak, 4-0, only undefeated team in the NFL right now.
Yep.
And I started like doing the more like the sports betting online stuff. So like I said, the D-Gen stuff. But it's funny because they give you money now to bet and they kind of expect you to spend your own money. But I never go over like the $20 threshold. So like every time that like they give it to me, I just be collecting like the $20 thing over and over and like bet per week on like safe bets. You know what I mean?
So you mean signing up bonuses or some shit?
No,
or,
so like on a weekly basis, they give you like, hey, if you bet on Sunday's game, we'll give you $20 of free refundable bet. So even if your bet loses,
it's the sucker, the lost leader.
Yes.
Right? I got you.
So,
So they're figuring that you're going to
spend more than
be
what
a
you
degenerate,
exactly
and gamble a bunch of other shit.
But,
you have discipline.
have the discipline, and I just like don't go over that $20 threshold. So like I'm gambling, but not like stupidly. At least not yet. I mean, I'm not. Don't quote me on this. I'm like a year down the line, I'm gonna be fucking
trust
broke.
Me, they don't do that for. They're not altruistic, right? So
Yeah.
they know eventually they're gonna get you. The hook's gonna get set, and you're gonna be screwed.
Trust me, I'm not. I mean, quote me now, cut this, someone clip it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, don't bet anyone, but like if it's free, and you could have a strong willpower, then, let yourself go a little bit,
Yeah, you win a couple times, and you're like, oh, this is easy, and then you start, let me just use my own money to up the bet, and then you lose, and you're like, oh, shit, I got to make it up, and then the next thing you know, it's a vicious cycle.
No, that is true. I mean, it was kind of the opposite remember when the Super Bowl, we won that 4,000?
Yeah.
And then it was like break until this season we started up again. Me and Kevin were like, we should probably like just test it out. And they kept running those promotions. We kept seeing it. We're like, I mean, it's only $20. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
That freaking $4,000 bet you guys won was just,
that was awesome.
Shit ass luck. I mean, at the end of the day, right? There's no skill in that. I mean,
it was
what was
skill.
it, like
it was
an eight thing parlay?
Yeah, eight or nine.
I mean, the odds. I mean, obviously the odds are like, 4,000 to 1 or some shit, right? I mean, it was just like, come on.
It was absolutely nutty.
That was crazy.
So we do have a lot to talk about. I think the last time we talked,
holy mackerel, do we?
We talked about you taking notes.
I did. I got them.
You said you have a lot. I mean, I have a couple. I guess I could start us off because all mine are relatively lighter, and then we could get more into the meat and potatoes, if you would, of the conversation.
Sure.
So, the first things first, I was scrolling through Instagram and YouTube, the classic, looking through podcasts and whatnot, and I saw a podcast with Mr. Beast. I forget whose show he went on. I don't know if it was Andrew Schultz.
Oh, he was just on Full Send.
Or if on the
Literally
Nelk
just
one.
on Full Send.
Okay, it was either one of the two.
That dude's pretty cool.
No, he's dope. And he was on there talking about how he turned down $1 billion for all of his companies together, which people were kind of like up in arms. They're like, this guy turning down $1 billion, you effing crazy, like yada yada yada. So for the people that don't know, Mr. Beast, we talked about him a few times. He's a content creator / philanthropist / entrepreneur. I mean, wears a number of hats. He has a YouTube channel, obviously. He started like a chocolate company called Feastables, and he's kind of like doing like a spin-off of the Hershey's, like healthier.
He's got a burger,
a ghost burger joint, which is like, so for example, if you have a
I mean the cool thing, he was also talking about how like all of his videos are now dubbed in various languages and stuff like that. So, like everybody that does it basically just does it in English. And he's like, yeah, well, you're missing like 90% of the world by not having native language videos, and he does all of his videos. It's pretty cool.
No, absolutely, and he's really smart when it comes down to his execution, right? Yep. And I mean, just to kind of lift off some numbers, like this is not like a small YouTuber by any means. Just for, like I said, the people who don't know, like his last, I could just list you off the last 5 videos: 40 million, 41 million, 54, 72, 21. I'll go a little bit further back: 108, 98, 90, 134, and then I think his biggest one was that Squid Games with 290 million views. So he's definitely, he's definitely like competing with, like Netflix, right? Like that's those type of numbers. And Gary Vee was actually the first one to like kind of quickly hop on his defense. He was like, $1 billion? I wouldn't sell it for 10 billion, just like kind of doubling down and kind of having his back, which was really cool to see that. I mean, I feel like in this day and age, the content creators, and he said it best too, like if you went to like Walmart and you've seen a Hershey's bar, if you've seen Mr. Beast bar, and you're like, oh, I watch his videos, like I'm going to go for that one, even though they could taste the same, they could have the same ingredients. It's just more like, I know that guy, like, or you quote unquote know that guy, so you're going to be more inclined, I guess, to purchase the Feastables bar. So it's cool to see that, and I mean, this kind of opens up the can of worms with talking about like Prime with Logan Paul and KSI. It opens up a series of things.
Branding big time.
So until like, I guess
Mr. Beast was interesting because he was talking about the chocolates, and he really just kind of laid it out and said, look, my product against Hershey's on the shelf. Which one are you going to reach for? And it's true, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. I mean, and a quick statistic about that. I mean, he since January. This was by the Business Insider, said that he sold over $10 million worth of chocolate bars since just January.
Yep.
So that's pretty dope, bro. Like, kudos to him for being able to, realize.
It's good to be on the front end of that. I mean, eventually it's going to burn out, I guess, with everybody else. Sort of. I mean,
that's the thing. It goes with his name, though. So if Mr. Beast is relevant, that's going to be relevant. But if he constantly, hit after hit, if that's what he's doing, then it's bound to just keep blowing up until it eventually, like one day, if he does something controversial or something like that, it's going to sizzle out.
That's always a challenge for sure.
No, for sure, most definitely. Real quick, okay, I really don't want to like dig too deep into this, but have you heard about like the Twitch drama that's been going on by chance?
No.
Okay, so last week there was a bunch of Twitch drama. We could briefly skim over it, but it was just like how like Pokimane was kind of like the forerunner for it, and a couple other bigger creators, she's like the first one that sticks out, were basically against gambling, and within a matter of like 3 days they banned gambling off the whole website. And for most people like Trainwrecks or Aiden Ross, those type of people, that means that they can't gamble on stream. That was like their main source of income. Like they were getting paid millions of dollars per month to promote these gambling sites, and they actually got banned, and they disbanded off the whole thing.
So they're banning gambling ads.
Not ads, gambling promotions. So like he would go on stream for like Trainwrecks would go on stream for like 8 hours and just gamble the whole 8 hours, like on stream. Like Stig would send him money and he would just be playing slots over and over and over again. And he would get like 40,000 like average viewers or 30,000 average viewers just watching him gamble on stream.
Okay.
So they just saw that, and
so I don't understand why they're banning it. I mean, it's not illegal, right?
So this is their statement. I could read it real quick.
It says, like, okay, I'm going to ban me outside cutting my grass because, I don't like people cutting their grass, right? It's killing green. I mean, it's like something, where does it end, man? I mean, seriously, if it's not that they're doing anything illegal, right? They're not illegally
but
promoting like their own gambling.
I think their push for it was like, this is Twitch where there's predominantly younger people on it.
I get it.
But no, I agree 100% because they would also have like 21 plus in the title. So it's like, all right, if you see 21 plus, like obviously that's not going to restrict you from clicking it, but that's like the courtesy of saying, here's the forewarning, and a number of other things. But Twitch says, gambling content on Twitch has been a topic of discussion in our community and something that we've been actively reviewing since our last policy updates in the area. Today we want to update you on all our plans. While we prohibit sharing links or referral codes to all the site that includes slots, roulettes, dice games, we've seen some people circumvent those rules and expose our community to potential harm. So we'll be making a policy on October 18th to prohibit streaming of gambling sites that include slots, roulettes, dice, streams, games that aren't licensed in the U.S. or other jurisdictions that provide significant customer protection. These sites include all the sites. However, we may identify others and we'll move forward. We will continue to allow websites that focus on sports betting, fantasy sports, and poker.
Okay, so all right. So they're not completely banning it. They're just flushing out the
offshore
really
accounts.
Shady ones. Okay, well, that's fair.
Right. I mean, so I don't know.
So, I mean, it's not like they're killing, I don't know, poker, whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of poker ones that are all legit. And
I don't know. It just seems very...
DraftKings and that kind of shit are still on board.
It just sounds very kind of shady. And then shortly after, like, Twitch has been on a roll with updates, and they said that I remember a few months back, if you remember, I talked to you about that 50-50 split that they were thinking about doing. Well, just recently, they're starting to activate that split. So Twitch changed their split from what was 70% of the earnings would go to the streamer, 30% would kick back to Twitch for giving them the platform.
Sure.
Now they're going to 50-50, so 50 go to the streamer, 50 go to the platform. And up until this point, they would be... So for the first, like, I guess the people that are godfathered in, they would get the first $100,000 earned. They would still do that 70-30 split, but anything after that, $100,000 will be 50-50. Yep. Do you have any thoughts? Like, do you think that sounds fair? I mean, I personally, I think that if the streamer is putting its best efforts forward and they're not getting a push by Twitch, then they shouldn't be splitting that. But if they are getting promotion, which none of these people, to my record, not like my...
So I don't know if it's necessarily about promotion, right? I don't know if it's Twitch's... Well, I mean, obviously, Twitch has got game for some promotion, but it's the infrastructure, right? So they're probably running on Microsoft's Azure because it's owned by Microsoft, right? But so you're basically paying for the back end stuff, which is super expensive, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, but then they went ahead this week for TwitchCon coming up. They booked like Megan Thee Stallion for like I would imagine she has a hefty fee of like over like $1 million, like 500K plus. So it's like, rather than like using that money to book an artist, why wouldn't you allocate that resource to other things? You know, right?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but I mean, look, I mean, I think Apple has over the course of time changed their splits on app development. I think
maybe so.
YouTube has clearly changed their numbers over the years, right? It's kind of the evolution where these big companies take more and more of a cut, right? I mean that.
No, you just brought up actually a whole different conversation. So I mean, that's kind of like the bare bones of it. I mean, that's about it. I mean, 70-30 to 50-50, hit or miss. How is your Rumble?
Well, I mean, this is the problem when you get into bed with these gigantic tech companies, right? You're screwed. You don't have. I mean, what choice do these Twitch people have? They leave the platform and go where, right?
YouTube, but YouTube doesn't have a.
And the YouTube's going to have the exact same probably challenges, right? So I mean, you can start to look at some of these upstart alternatives like Rumble and stuff, right? But
I was going to say, how are your stocks doing?
I think Rumble's doing pretty good.
Oh my god, I think Rumble's going to be.
It hasn't blown up. I mean, it went up and then it dropped, and so but still, I mean,
I think it's going to be a real contender because they're starting to ban a lot of people that were kind of behind like the Tate movement and everything like that. They're starting to ban like a lot of those guys, and they're all going to Rumble. Like even Steve will do it from the Nelk, like he went to Rumble too. So you might get a good ROI on your investment there. I think a lot of people are going to be moving over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way it was always intended to be. It is a platform to deliver content that we're not responsible for. We're just delivering the content. It's no different than Verizon or AT&T with your phone, right? You have a conversation with your girlfriend or whoever it might be. It's none of AT&T's business what that conversation is. They're just providing the service.
The platform, right.
Right? And that's the way the internet was always supposed to be, and it's just no longer the case, right? If you look at Yahoo, you look at all these, they're all, okay, Twitch with this gambling thing. Whether you think it's right or wrong, and it sounds like in some cases it's probably right because they're filtering out some pretty, probably some really crazy shit. But that's not really what it was supposed to be intended, right?
No. I mean, that's also the case, though, for, like, the hot tub streamers. Like, girls get in their bikinis and stuff like that, and then get on stream. So it's like, it seems like a very one-sided thing. Rather than banning the hot tub stuff, they made a separate category on their platform. You know what I mean?
It's political, and I get it.
So, I mean, there's some stuff. Now, with Rumble, I'm curious, and you might not know the answer, but where is their money or revenue coming from? Is it, like, hey, donate us, like, is it like buy a coffee type deal? Like,
so
people
as far
just
as I know, it's advertising as well, right? So they
have advertising.
It's just, I mean, it is. I think it's the exact same structure and model as YouTube, right? They basically just looked at what YouTube was doing. I think they give a little bit better,
maybe like a discount or something.
They give better, probably give better pricing on,
I would imagine,
ad buys. But I mean, it's advertiser driven.
But yeah, I'm just very like curious about that, because I remember we talked about that a while ago, and you were like, yeah, we're now on Rumble. I'm like, what the hell is that? And
yeah, and I think what they did is. So a lot of times you get these upstart video services, but what they're really doing is behind the scenes. It's Amazon, it's Microsoft, it's Google, right? It's one of the big hyperscales that are basically back ending it. So they're still at the mercy of those, even if it's not like on the surface looks like it. And as far as I know, I think Rumble has gone about investing and building out their own data center, their own infrastructure, so that they are not beholden to any of the hyperscales. And if Amazon decides that, hey, we don't like what you did, we're just going to cut you off, because that's what happened.
What happened to YouTube, essentially.
I think Parler was the one that was before it, right? Parler was kind of that social media startup that was getting a lot of at least on the conservative side, that were getting banned. But they were running on Amazon, and Amazon cut them off at the knees, and so Rumble didn't want that same thing to happen. So it's a completely independent platform.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of I'm worried that it's going to happen to the same thing like how it happened to YouTube, because YouTube back in 2013, 14, it was very much so like, at least it seemed like a free platform. You could upload any sorts of content. I mean, besides like obviously like gruesome, like crazy stuff,
right.
Until more recently. Rather than coming at the creator for controversies, like the viewers would go to the creator and kind of have like backlash for them, they're going to YouTube, or they're going to the sponsors directly and attacking them, and that's what's causing
cancel culture,
and that's what's canceling the whole partnership deal and the whole aspect of free speech for YouTube.
Right.
It feels
at the end of the day, that's Rumble's pitch is the content isn't ours, it's somebody's, it's Tate's. Like, if you think that guy's a complete ass, don't watch the videos. Mm-hmm. That's how you, as a consumer, can lash back, right? Mm-hmm. And that's it. There's dumbasses. There's 16-year-old kids that thrive on that crap. Okay, so be it. But I mean, that's the way it should be. That's it should be self-policed. It shouldn't be someone saying, "Hey,
right." I'm just worried.
We think this is wrong. We think this is right. We think this needs to be promoted, right? I don't really give a shit what YouTube thinks or what Google thinks, right? I mean, I have my own ability to think.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't watch any of Andrew Tate's stuff. I don't, I know who he is. I've seen him in some interviews. He's just not my guy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't watch any of his videos. I would never sit here on this podcast and tell you that I think he should be banned from everything.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. I mean,
if you're stupid enough to buy into it, hey, more power to him.
No, I mean, two quick things on that, like. I just don't want them to fall pressure to the ads pulling away and then them having to make some cutting the fat plays, I guess you could say. Like, all right, sorry, like these people are pulling sponsorships out, and then where does that money like lead to? If all of these people start doing like an ad gate, if you will, and pulling out, then how are they going to keep the lights on, if you would? But that's enough of that.
I mean, that was the argument that I guess some people had with the Paul brothers, right? That they're beholden to YouTube, and that's where their cash flow is, and so they were not they weren't advocating, I guess, the free speech stuff. Yeah. So as these people are getting banned, they're not
speaking up, backing
them, and saying, hey, it's a fine line, right? No. I mean, even the Full Send guys were talking about that with Mr. Beast, right? I guess Full Send. I don't. This was before I started listening to it. They did a thing where they actually spammed or conned Google, and then they were on site at Google.
You're talking about the paywall? Like they had like a paid website?
Did that too. But I mean, stuff that says they actually got banned by YouTube for a period of time, and
something like that. Yeah.
And he goes like, it's a fine line between being banned and just kind of running under the radar and whatever it might be, right? So
for sure.
I don't know. I mean, I just it'll be interesting to see how the whole thing plays out.
Here we got another thing, an update from last podcast. I mean, this was 2 weeks ago, so try to remember here, but I remember talking about a gaming organization by the name of G2. The CEO was hanging out with actually Tate, who we talked about. More recently, his name was Carlos. The former CEO has officially stepped down after a video of him and Andrew Tate surfaced, and then it's as simple as they canceled him for just hanging out with him. People went to Twitter and said, cancel culture is one sad thing. That has nothing to do with cancel culture. Another person says, this is a business decision most likely made by G2's board. If I invested $1 million into a company and the face of the company calls a world-renowned misogynistic a friend and recorded himself partying with him, I'm instigating a push as well. And just kind of...
So where we live in, I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, it's craziness.
Two last things, and then I'll turn it over to you. Or one last thing, actually. Do you see that Starlink passed 1 million users by launching their rockets daily? Like, they surpassed something like that.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I looked into it because I want to cut the cord so bad. I have Verizon, and it's tough to do because of Fios. And if you start unbundling it, it ends up costing almost as much as just having all of this shit, right? But I would love to just get rid of TV completely. We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
But Starlink's pretty expensive, though. I mean, you got to buy the $500 or $600 antenna.
Yeah.
And the service is pretty pricey, and it's slow as shit, right? I mean, compared to...
For us. Like, it's more for, like, Royal Airlines.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, once the speed starts to improve, it could be alternative.
No, for sure. I mean, I'm not too familiar with all the ins and outs of it, but I just saw that they surpassed 1 million users, and that's huge. I mean, Taylor, she saw a rocket actually go up the other day because they're
I saw it.
You seen it too? They look crazy, like they're it kind of looks like wings coming out, if you would. Like,
I had no idea. I was out in the yard, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Right? Because you could see it looks like an airplane, but it's moving way faster than an airplane.
Yeah.
And then of course I go online, and it's all over. As soon as something happens.
So I told you about the story with that fighter jet that flew over my house, and I was right.
Yes.
It was the president that was actually flying over, and it
wasn't the president. I think it was just that Biden was in DC or was in Wilmington,
and that guy got
and so
too close.
It's restricted airspace, and so this little turboprop guy, wandered into what's restricted airspace,
which was above my house,
and I guess he wasn't deviating off his course because maybe who knows? I didn't see the whole details, so that's why they dropped the flares and stuff like that to try and tell this guy you need to turn around.
Oh my God, me and Taylor was sound asleep. We're inside, and then all of a sudden the house starts shaking. This jet's above my house in the backyard, like letting flares go. It's crazy.
This was what, Saturday, or
it was something like that. Yeah,
it was on the weekend, and we're recording this from about 20 miles from where Joe Biden's house is in Wilmington. So when he's there, the airspace around here is restricted, and we're in the country, right? So it's typically pretty quiet, and I'm outside, and all of a sudden you hear these massive jet engines, and these guys are apparently hitting the afterburners and all kinds of crazy stuff, and I couldn't see it because of the tree lines and stuff, but as it turns out, I guess there was 2 fighter jets that intercepted a small plane, and they were
I thought the Russians were coming down
flares
on us, bro.
and stuff like that, and it was freaking everybody out because it was just
I'm outside,
not the norm.
I'm outside holding my phone, calling my neighbors. I called you, and my hands shaking. I'm like freaking them. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah, well,
it was pretty dope though. Like it was like
maybe we're getting a premonition of this World War III shit that's going to happen soon. So
yeah, right. Yeah, it was cool to see though. Like I was like in awe, but at the same time like, all right, I should probably like go to the basement or something. Like I was just like standing outside, my eyes were wide open. I was like, oh my God, like this is.
Yeah, I know. I mean, everybody's heard airplanes and stuff, but when it's when they're doing the afterburners and stuff like that, you're like, what the hell is going on?
And then I got on Google and I was like, I looked up, I was like, how much to fly around? Because how cool would it be to go in one of those? Like I looked it up, and for like 30 minutes, it's like $5,000.
Oh, you mean
to do like a
go in one of the old Russian surplus ones
that'd be pretty sick though.
That's crazy. Yep, that was pretty cool though.
So now I guess over to you.
All right, cool.
With the meat and potatoes as I referred to earlier.
Yeah, so I mean, I got a couple things. I mean, obviously the one thing we already talked about, we'll get to that in a second, which is Ye. But
Ye.
That one I'll probably go on and on and on and on and on for 30 minutes. So let's save that one for the last. But
sure.
So, it's funny. I didn't call you over the last 2 weeks other than to say happy birthday because it was really weird. I kind of have these ebbs and flows with my interest in doing this podcast. And I don't know what it was. Last week I was just in such a depressed state because I was just like, why the fuck am I doing this? I mean, because I'm like, no one's listening to it, right? And I was like, and then I realized after a couple of days, I was like, yeah, I enjoy doing it, and who cares if anybody's actually listening to it, which is really the point, and it's been the point since we started it. But every once in a while, you kind of go, why the hell are we doing this?
Yeah, man.
And then I was listening to Mr. Beast, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's talking about how you got to do your thing, you got to do self-promotion and all this other stuff, call to actions. And I'm like, yeah, we don't do any of that. We got to...
I mean, the most we do is call to action sometimes.
Every once in a blue moon. But if you listen to those guys, right, every one of their podcasts, they are now baking in all these product ads, right? And I'm like... Yeah, we gotta at some point we just gotta figure out the structure for this because I know we still get on this podcast and just kind of wing it.
Yeah, I mean the most preparation.
I know we talked about not doing that, but we still do it.
The most preparation we do is just record, think of topics. I mean that's just kind of the bare bones. I mean these guys start with a platform outside of podcasting, go into podcasting. We start from no platform, podcasting, build up from there. So there's pros and cons to both. I mean, if this thing ever blows up one day and, hopefully we'll be more prepared in the future, we have it down like clockwork, sound more fluent and everything like that. Who knows?
I think for me, it was just kind of taking a step back and thinking that now that we've done sort of the 40 episodes and have a comfort level with at least, producing the content.
What's the next
step? Just kind of take a step back and just start to reframe exactly what our goals are, right? I mean, I think when we started, we just wanted to do it, right, for fun.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, we've kind of invested 40 episodes. Maybe it's time to...
Yeah.
Sit there and say we need to structure, what we talk about, and so there's some at least consistency to it, and we're also, finally really baking in promotion of whether it's the clothing brand or something else, and also, we got to start attacking and figuring out what we really needed to do to build the base, right? Because that's the thing that at the end of the day, I guess, is the missing part, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because we're talking the white noise, and I'm like, yeah, we got to just,
attack where it hurts.
So if you are listening to this, share it with your friends.
Yes. Share it with your mom, your
dad. Make sure you're liking it on all of the services, even if you're only listening to it on one. Do us a favor and like it on the others real quick. It doesn't cost you anything, right? So
5 stars on Apple.
Yeah, Apple, Spotify, Rumble.
That's Rumble's in the top 3 now, man. That's crazy.
Oh, so the other thing is, I know we've talked about doing video, which has obviously always been sort of the lacking thing. And I remember, if you listen to episode 3, we were like, "Yeah, we're going to do video by January, right?" And it's now 9 months later, and we haven't even really gotten close to it. So I have some news on that front.
I didn't even see this. What the hell?
So this is actually something that I just got in the mail today, which is it's the Creator Edition GoPro Black 11.
No chance, really?
So I'm thinking that what we could do is maybe next episode we'll start trying to videotape at least the room and see what happens and layer that over.
This is dope. It has a light and everything on it too.
It's got everything. So it's kind of built for, I think, handheld action.
Sick.
But
no, it has a tripod.
Yeah. So I can set that up and we can at least just start to do some video and mess around with that as a layer.
Awesome. Damn.
Yeah. So I actually got kind of this. This is actually something for work. I didn't pay for it, but I figured, what the hell? I got it, so we might as well use it. So,
there you go. Hey, man, we're coming. I mean, anything would be like, hey, man, that one didn't really work out too well. Can we send 2, and then we can have boom, boom, and then have two cams?
I mean, again, it's dipping our toe in the pool, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we started out with the 2 microphones. We bought the 3rd for a guest, right? So so next episode we're going to try and shoot some video and see what happens.
Yeah,
right? I mean, you'll get to see my ugly mug, and maybe that'll be the end of it. But at least you'll see us wearing the clothes. I'm wearing one of our Exclusive Minds hoodies. Dave is wearing is it the shorts or the joggers?
Dude, these joggers, perfect time for this time of year. Not even gassing it. The absolute best quality pantalones I have, outside of maybe cargo pants, but we're not. That's not our realm yet. These are the best pants I have.
Yeah, the only problem is we're sold out of those. So
yeah, well, spinning
there
back.
There are T-shirts and hoodies if you go online, exmnds.com for all of your clothing needs. Don't what was the tagline I used? It was kind of like the Apple Think Different one.
You just
don't be a slave to the masses or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember you said something like that.
It moved me a little bit. It's actually in the if you look at the bio of the episode, I always have it in there. It's don't conform to the masses or something like that, right? So come on, man, you can buy Adidas and Nike all day long. Come on, buy some exclusive lines and really stand apart.
There you go.
The designs are hot. We're still working on some new stuff. I think we got T-shirts that are kind of queued up. Hopefully, we'll have those in the next couple weeks.
Absolutely.
And then we got to do some hoodies. Yeah. So anyway,
two things real quick. Yeah. So off to the quick little tangent on the clothing stuff. The biggest problem with the clothing stuff is, and I think we might have talked about this before, is just the consistency with getting them made. Like, it's not even about me and Joe being held up. It's just like we have so many like external problems that I feel like, I don't know, it's just like we get something going for a little bit, like it was with X for a little bit, and then it just falls off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Then we get it with X again, or Y, and then the quality's not there, and they kind of fell off the face of the earth too. So then it's like, it's just like such a, it's like, it might not even be our fault. I mean, this might just be looking for an excuse or something like that, but I don't know. It just seems like we have the right intentions, but I don't know. It just never seems to work out that way. And the second thing I wanted to say...
Well, I mean, that's all part of learning, right? So it's our execution, and so, I mean, this new source that I think we're going to
They're like the
go-to. I mean, the good news is I think she's been around forever, and I think a lot of our issues with consistency, both on the product quality as well as just being there as a vendor, I think this will solve all of that.
I'm hoping so. Yeah,
I really do. I really feel good about it. So
she told us to come through and tour the place, which is always a good sign. Like when people are inviting to go see the production line and everything like that. So that's good. The second thing I wanted to say to you was, we should, rather than doing a call to action and have to remember it every episode, what if after the show we just record like, hey, like a 10-second ad read, and you just like...
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it.
I mean, it's pretty obvious what you need to do, right? Like the damn thing, listen to it, share it with your friends.
Like
please,
the damn
right?
thing. I love that.
Yeah, well, like the damn thing. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's one of our. So I mean, there's obviously a lot of goals, right? I mean, we talked about doing video. We'll do that.
Getting more guests on.
Doing more interviews, because our interview shows are always our highest listened to ones, and they obviously create the synergies with broadening out the touch points, because that guest will probably invite his friends to listen into the podcast. So that's one way to build the base. I mean, obviously we the sky's the limit from where we're at now, but clearly we need to start focusing on how we kind of drive audience and viewership and stuff like that. So,
most definitely.
And I think it's kind of twofold, right? I mean, we have to do some marketing and stuff like that, but I also think we have to build some consistency, which we don't have, right? The topics are, there are certain topics that I think we do talk about quite a bit, but it's all over the place, right? So I think we got to build up some consistency so that at least, maybe 75% of the show, people know what the hell we're going to talk about or what's going to happen.
I think so too. I mean, when you talk about interviews, that's a lot different, because those are supposed to be off the wall, right?
Yes.
And then when you have it just me and you, which 90% of it is, like you said, maybe a structure. So we kind of maybe give out advice or tips or something where it's, like what has worked for us, maybe what hasn't worked for us, kind of diving more into like the business-esque type deal. I mean, I don't know. There's a couple of routes we could go about it, I feel like.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing I want to do is I'm going to probably start to put time coding on the notes for the show, because I've always not done that. And so for those people who don't want to listen to the full hour, but they want to listen to sections of it,
they could do that.
Again, at least it's
it'll boost
activity
retention.
And right. Because if you listen to the first 3 minutes and you go, I don't want to listen to this shit, and you just drop it, then we end up losing the capability of someone saying, I really want to hear what these guys have to say about Yee and Yeezys and stuff like that, right? That's going to be 30 minutes in, and I don't want to listen to the first 30 minutes. I get it, right? I mean, I do it all the time myself in certain podcasts I listen to. So I'm going to try and add time coding in too. I don't know if I'll do it with this episode, but going forward, that's one of the other things I have in my notes to just, sort of work with.
For sure. Excuse me.
So those were two of my notes because I was kind of in a frustration point over the last 2 weeks, and just my motivation dipped last week, which was probably perfectly timed with your birthday, and we weren't going to really do it anyway. So it turned out. I mean, trust me, I still enjoy doing this. I kind of just had one of those dry moments where I was God, this sucks.
We literally talked about it last episode, right? We talked about the lack of the ebbs and flows if you in your wording with motivation, right?
So I got two other things. I mean, before we get to Yi, because that's the second one. But so I saw an article which just blew my mind. It was the government was funding a research program to the tune of $700,000 to evaluate extremism, specifically white nationalism and white supremacy in video games and online, Twitch and stuff like that.
You had me for the first half.
And I'm like, what the WTF, right? And I'm seriously, right? And I'm like, I know this is the hot topic of the day for the political conversation and shit like that, but I was just losing my mind. I'm like, $700,000, and then I'm thinking to myself, this is a conversation I should probably have with Dave, because he's obviously very active on video games and that engagement. And I'm sitting there going, didn't he just go like? You have friends that you've made that are what I would call not white, right? And I'm like, what the? What? Seriously, I was just like, what the? Have you seen any of this? And I'm assuming your answer is no, but don't let me put words in your mouth.
No, for sure. I mean, so video. Okay, hold on. White supremacy in video game. Okay, now
and extremism and nationalism.
Listen, right?
And just
if you've
bullshit.
been alive on this earth, you're a what do they call it? A sentient human being. You're right. Yeah. There is racism on video games, like not caused by the video game itself, but people in lobbies and stuff saying, "Go f yourself," or "N-word this, N-word that."
So here's my question: is that racist, or is that stupid?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Is that a 14-year-old kid who's trying to be cute, right? I mean,
sure.
I mean, I know that shit happens all the time. I was a kid at one point, right? Yes. And I'm like, is that really racist, or is that because if you ask me, that's not racist. That's stupid.
No, I mean it's. Jesus Christ!
Like when you say white nationalism and you say white supremacy,
they're not organized
that's
groups.
Someone
they're not
who's
organized
trying
groups.
to recruit. Right. That's an organized effort to try and recruit you into an organization like the Ku Klux Klan or some other stupid shit to try and do something really, really nasty. And does that shit happen? I seriously doubt it.
No, there's no groups.
But
because
some
think about it,
14-year-old going, "Hey, you're a mother effing," come on, that's just some dumbass.
So there's no organized group behind it. I mean, this is a tale as old as time. Like everyone, it's a meme at this point with 2009, that golden era of like the Call of Duty lobbies. You join in a 12-man stack of people. You're making me nervous, man.
No, this is sorry.
You're good. I mean, having bad experiences with this guy right here. Those are brutal times. That's a brutal era of like you could join in there, and like I said, people are telling you to get cancer. People are telling you to stick. It's the whole 9 yards. So the fact that it's not an organized attempt, more so just like shit talking, or bantering or whatever people would like to call it. It is a derogatory term, very much so, right? But it's not like past once you leave, it's not. There's nothing that comes from it. Right? I mean, besides maybe like the word itself, but nothing outside of it that's going to be like, all right, there's not people showing up to your doorstep, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of it. I mean, I hope I talked about it without like, being insensitive or anything. I mean, because I don't know. The
bottom line is like in all of your time, and you've been doing it for years,
a long
actively,
time. Right.
You have never seen any organized effort to like recruit you into I mean, that's what I'm looking at this and I'm like, are they out of their goddamn minds?
Yeah.
I mean, pay me $500,000 and I could spend 10 minutes and tell them that it's a bunch of dumbass 12-year-olds and 14-year-olds that are just trying to shoot their mouths off.
So now with that 700,000, I'm wondering if that's like 7 guys that have, or guys or girls that have like 100,000. You know what I mean? $100,000 salaries, and that's why it's 700,000. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's probably what it is. It's probably just like a headline grab.
I don't know. I lost my mind. I'm like this, and this is taxpayer fucking money, and this is the kind of shit that just like blows me away. And, and this shit happens all the time.
No, for sure. I mean, so I'm very curious. I've been seeing a lot about this might get you started, might not. Fetterman and Dr. Oz. Is Tom Wolfe getting out, and then these guys are coming in, or what's the deal? Are they running for two different things?
Who's the? Oh God. The one senator who's in there now is retiring. Shit. I
don't know.
So the Republican senator who's in there now is retiring.
Okay.
And so this is for his seat, I think. Mm-hmm. Wolf is the governor, right? So he's up against, or he's done because he's already served his term max. So it's him and some other guy. It's okay, nothing to do with Oz and Fetterman.
Okay. Now, Dr. Oz, how did he get into this whole thing? Because last I heard from Dr. Oz, he was on television. So what's the sway there?
Well, I mean, I guess
what does he do? What is he? Is he on Republican or is he on?
He's a Republican, or at least he's putting forward as a Republican.
And then Fetterman's a Democrat.
He's hardcore as they get Democrat.
Okay, gotcha. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a politician.
If I follow correctly, right, Oz has obviously been a Hollywood guy for a while, but I think he was actually born here and lived here for a while, right? And so, I mean, there's some tie to Pennsylvania. It's not completely out of the blue.
I feel like a lot of famous people are from PA.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of famous people are getting into politics, right? Herschel Walker, there's a bunch of people that are trying to dip their toe into it. So, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I saw down the street there was signs for both, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
Dr. Oz. Go figure.
I have very strong opinions on that, but I'll leave it to myself.
Sure, why not? All right. Yay. Yee.
Yeah. So let's jump into Yee, right? So man, this freaking guy he's the GOAT in my book. I mean, talk about a guy who just doesn't give a crap about what anybody thinks. So I wanted to talk about
Kanye West.
I wanted to talk about it just because obviously he put out that press release a couple weeks ago that he wanted to bail on Adidas and Gap,
right,
which is a super talking point. And then I see yesterday that he's at Paris Fashion Week or doing a launch, and he's wearing White Lives Matter shirt. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy has just got some. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean,
wow. And so more power to him.
Real quick on that. Today he took to Instagram and he said that everyone knows that BLM was a scam. It's over now. You're welcome.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Good for him. I mean, honest to God, good for him.
So, I don't know, man. That, I think there was...
seriously, it's one thing to think that. It's another thing to actually do what he did.
That's
with
what I'm
his
saying,
visibility
right.
And not give a shit what the blowback's going to be on that. Because let's face facts, there's going to be some serious blowback. A lot of people going, he's an Uncle Tom and all this other horse shit. This guy just doesn't give a shit. He speaks what he thinks is the truth, which is damn, I love it.
Yeah, I mean.
It's integrity, man. Integrity.
He's definitely sticking by his guns by doing that. But do you think that, for a guy like that, do you think it's about the clicks at that point, or do you think he was doing it because that's what he truly believes, right?
I don't think it was for the clicks. I mean, maybe, but I mean, he's already got them. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
It's not like a guy it's not like us who's trying to make a market, right? This dude, he has the market. I mean, what more is he going to get?
Because
if anything, he's probably risking losing. If the
only reason I say that is because he did it at his Yeezy 9, the Yeezy Season 9 fashion show with Balenciaga. So it's like.
I get it.
That's why. That's the only reason.
Promotion. I mean, there's no doubt about it, right?
That's the only reason I said that. I mean, besides that, though, I mean, he's made a couple stands about I think BLM, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I think he's talking about there was a woman who bought a house with the funds or something like that.
Patrice Evers, yeah.
So I think that might be what he's talking. I genuinely don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was it's a very bold thing to do.
Yes, it is.
In this particular day and age. But that's, getting back to the core of it, though, right? He also says, "I'm done with Gap, and I'm done with." It's so funny. He goes, "I'm done with Gap," and I swear to you, the second he said that, I'm getting emails from freaking Gap selling, the Yeezy shit every day.
They do.
If a couple times a day now. Where before it was once every 3 weeks to a month that you'd see something. Every day now I'm getting stuff from Gap.
It's always like Gap engineered by Yeezy.
So here's my rub with Yee, right? I love the shoes, as you well know, right? I hate the clothes with a passion.
Yeah, it's definitely a niche a niche audience, I guess. The shoes anyone could wear them. I feel like anyone, rest in peace, but my great aunt Rosie, when Rosie was alive, she liked the shoes. Like, she would comment on the 500s that I had, and she would be like, "I love these shoes, the rock ones." But the clothes are a different story.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like the first or second season was kind of like memed a little bit, or the third one, that it was it looked like homeless people wearing it because it had like a bunch of holes in it, and that's kind of it's.
The other thing that was kind of weird is I think when it first launched with Gap, because I bought that one hoodie just to kind of test the waters on it, right?
You bought the hoodie,
and I have it,
the long sleeve too, right? But
I returned it because it didn't. It was just such a wild fit. But the hoodie, and I want to say when I bought the hoodie, it was like $140, which is.
That's pricey.
Is it? So if you look at the stuff now that's all tagged with Balenciaga, right? Or
why'd you have to say that when I was drinking, dude? Balenciaga, man.
Balenciaga. I know. I'm just fucking. So it's kind of like Chipotle, right? Chipotle. So. Everything that's tagged with Balenciaga is stupid expensive, right? And I'm
I think Balenciaga is a social experiment. I truly do. I mean, they're putting together sock shoes that are selling for $1,000.
It's
so. Who's
buying it?
I give respect to some of their things. Now, I will give credit where credit's due. There are some fantastic designer brands that definitely deserve the recognition. For one being Mike Amiri. I love Mike Amiri's collections, his designs. It's stuff that anyone could wear. I mean, granted, but it has a hefty price tag behind it, but it looks premium. I mean, Balenciaga to a certain degree with some of their hoodies, maybe, but there's just, I don't know, when you get to the luxury stuff, there's a very, very thin line between this was made in a sweatshop, here's a $4 logo that was placed on top of it. We're selling it for $950 now. So that's kind of my thing with that. There, like I said, though, there is a couple brands that have that luxury thing. The push from Kanye that he has is his name. Just same thing we talked about with Mr. Beast in the beginning of the show is his name. So that's what put his hoodie at a retail value of $140, where if...
The problem is you can't get a hoodie now for $140. Any of his hoodies now are $400, $450 because they are now, it's now a thing with Balenciaga. So, so now I can't say it right. It's going to be mess.
No, I think it was at the Balenciaga show that you see the thing with Bella Hadid. They sprayed her. That was absolute. That's awesome, bro. And I'm not even saying that. Oh my god, it's a naked woman that's getting sprayed. No, that was super dope. For Bella Hadid is a model, a world famous model. And they had her. I forget what show it was. I think it was the Balenciaga one. I think now that we're talking about it, it's making me say that. But they sprayed her with these 2 or 3 people sprayed her with spray on fabric or something like that. Well,
it was like a latex or something, because didn't she end up peeling it off? Or
they peeled it and cut it a certain way so it looked more like a dress, but it was so cool because she walked out in nothing besides her underwear, and they sprayed a dress from top to bottom on her right before everyone's eyes.
Well, here's the thing though, what was the point?
It's cool. Just cool. They do that all the time. They do some. They do some
what the hell are they selling? Right?
They might be selling the idea of it. Maybe
the brand, I get it, but it's just I don't know.
Then it's a very thin line with the clicks versus practicability. I mean, now are you going to be having a designated room in your household to spray your clothes on in the morning? Probably not. But could this lead to future technology going forward?
Okay, yeah, okay, so, that's point taken.
So who knows?
I don't know, but yeah. So I mean, like, oh God, the Ye clothing though, it just drives me bananas. And now it's in front of me all the time because it is the funniest thing. As soon as they say we're going to kill this partnership, I'm getting that shit every day. And I'm looking, and I'm just like, they have like crossbody bags are like $400 for this little itsy bitsy bag.
And then they had those glasses too. You seen those?
I don't think I've seen the glasses.
They're what's his name? The Frozen guy for the honey, where's my super suit? That guy.
Oh, you mean from The Incredibles?
The Incredibles, yeah. Those type glasses. They're pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how much the price tag of one of those go for, but they're pretty cool.
I didn't see that. Is that well, anyway. But I mean, so it'll be interesting to see if he actually manages to actually legally separate from Adidas and Gap. I mean, I can't imagine that's going to go down well with either company, right? When they got like 10-year agreements.
Don't know, and I know the reason he wants to split from Adidas is because they come up with their quote unquote own versions of his things and release it at a slightly less thing what he's doing and more quantity. So that's his thing with Adidas. So I don't know. I mean, he went on Rogan a few years back and talked about how he wanted to make the foam runners at one point like $25 each. And so I mean, it's like if he were to separate, how much of that is going to stay true to his word, and how many of the current colorways that are coming out are part of his like, is that Adidas kind of backdooring him, kind of doing what Gap did and putting out as much of the stuff as they can, or is that him saying, all right, you could actually put that out, you could put that out, you could put that out?
Yeah, and I guess that's not happening. I mean, I could imagine Adidas is just changing the color and releasing it and not asking him a damn thing about it.
I mean, because that brand's a multi-billion-dollar brand, Yeezy we're talking about. It's
I'm still buying the shoes though, so I mean, I just scored the tans.
I mean, this guy has. I was telling him he should open up a size 9 shoe store in here, dude. Like, this guy has, cardboard boxes on cardboard boxes.
It is seriously getting bad. I actually just organized it the other day because I had shit all over the place.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, oh boy.
To be fair though, I mean, I've been looking for shoes. I've been kind of on the market for shoes for a little bit now, and there's nothing really that stands out. Like, when you put on the Ultra Boost or you put the Yeezy on, like, there's the comfort is what truly sets them apart, besides obviously the name, but the comfort's off like crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I'll only buy the 350s. I don't like really any of the other ones.
The 350s? The 250s, no?
The 350s.
350s. I don't know.
But the thing is as it's getting colder, man, those things, like, your feet freeze because
it's mesh,
they
right?
breathe.
Yeah.
The good thing is in the summer, right? They breathe, but in the winter, the bad thing is they breathe, right?
No,
so
sure,
I'm like, holy shit, I can't wear these in the winter. They're freaking freezing.
Yeah. Well, you have to get the Yeezy snow boots.
Yeah. Well, if they, we'll see.
Whatever they were, like the 800s or whatever they're called. But yeah, Kanye West, White Lives Matter, crazy.
That is just crazy. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I really do. I mean, I saw it and I was like, holy mackerel.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as, quick. Did you see the stuff that's going on with Antonio Brown lately?
I saw something about he was naked at a hotel
So he was naked at like a hotel in Dubai. He was like rubbing up against like another woman there, and she looked like she was like into. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. But yesterday or 2 days ago, when Brady was playing, he posted a picture with Tom Brady's wife and was like said something like kind of like taking shots at him. But you know who Shannon Sharp is?
Yeah.
He went to Instagram. I'll play a quick clip.
For the longest, he's done in the NFL. Nobody's gonna waste their time. And last night took the cake for me. I'm done. Everybody should be done. After he posted Tom Brady's wife and said what he said, that man took your ass in. That man revived your career.
There's truth.
Nobody was going to give you a chance. And you take a shot at this man's wife. You do that, AB?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's speaking truth, though, because after the Steelers, I mean, he was kind of, the Jets, or who was it? Was he with the Jets first, or was he with the Tampa Bay first?
God, I don't even know. Steelers first, and then
Steelers first, right? But I'm just saying.
Then he went to the Patriots, I think, or I don't know. He's been.
Yeah. But anyway, Tom Brady is one of the guys that pushed for him to come back because he's like, yeah, like give him another chance, like whatever. But yeah, it's crazy to see that. And then I don't know if you've seen the Dolphins quarterback. He came back in after being on concussion protocol or something.
Yeah, that's a whole thing too. Sure. Dude, they fired that guy, right? The doctor who...
Did they really? Good. I mean, yeah, it's clear. Like, after he got hit, he got up and, like, fell down. And then they were like, yeah, he's good. He's just on a protocol. Halfway through the game or the first quarter or something, he took a crazy hit and he was, like, messed up. You could tell. He was like, yeah, that was kind of it, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely fired that guy. So I mean,
yeah, I mean that's crazy that in 2022 that's still like a problem that they're having with the concussion stuff. After all, like the CTE things came out, the movie with Will Smith and everything like that, like that shouldn't be a thing no more.
Yeah, but, no, I mean, clearly that was a pretty ugly scene. But you know, look, I don't want to play devil's advocate, but I mean, you don't know the deal. I mean, the doctor could have been in one of those tents and not actually have seen the game and. The guy comes in and complains about my back hurts, so he's looking at his back, and no one has said anything to him about a concussion review. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I you know, maybe that's me just always giving the benefit of the doubt to people. Like,
but here's
not doing totally the wrong thing. But
here's my thing with that though. Even if he went back to the tent and he had a week or so to for the next game. You don't think someone in his camp or someone in the doctor's corner was like, hey, did you actually see what happened to the game? And then stopped him from going out on that Thursday. You know what I mean? So that I don't know. I find that hard to believe. But who knows? I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar organization, too, the NFL. They literally own a one day of the week when it's football season. So how do you let that slide?
Did you see Wakanda Forever trailer?
I did.
And what'd you think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm hyped.
That's it. That's all you need to say. That's it. That's all you need to say, man. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I mean, listen. I want to say one thing. It's not even about Chadwick Boseman not being there, but it is about him not being there. It's kind of just like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I guess.
I don't know. It's weird, man. Like, it's not even about a girl being the new Black Panther. Like, I'm all in favor for that. It's just like. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you. Well, we're right on an hour, so we can probably close down. But before we do, one last thing. So did you see all this BS with the Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua fight, not signing contracts?
No. Wait, I didn't see that one. No.
So I guess supposedly they were like really close to signing for a December 3rd fight finally to have this mega fight.
Yeah, why not?
And so supposedly I guess Anthony Joshua's camp won't sign the contract because their management is afraid, right? If he loses, he's pretty much his career's ended. So they don't want him to fight. They want to obviously go through a couple patsies to build his confidence back up, and they're trying to save face by saying, "Oh, we can't get the negotiations. We can't, and." Tyson's like, I'll give you a 60-40 split, which is unusual for a champ, offering a contender that kind of a split and promotion rights. And so we could
all read between the lines why he's not taking that, and that's for obvious reasons. I saw Deji, KSI's younger brother, is going to be fighting Floyd Mayweather.
I saw that too, yeah.
Which I don't know how in the hell they got that together, but
dollars, man. So I mean, Mayweather, you pay him $20-something plus $1 million, he'll fight anybody, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think Deji could fight Logan Paul and beat him, and he couldn't get the job done. So what's Deji gonna do? Doesn't matter. Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah,
it's not a real fight. I mean, let's face facts. It's an exhibition. I mean, Chris, he just crushed that Japanese dude, right?
I saw that. Yeah, he's been getting really active lately. Like all these expedition matches. He just did
I hear he's talking about fighting
who's he?
McGregor again.
Oh yeah?
And supposedly like a real fight, like a real sanctioned fight. So I don't know. That would be kind of interesting.
How old are both of those guys? Is there a crazy age gap there?
Mayweather's got to be in his 40s now, right? I mean,
so a late McGregor or a late Mayweather versus
a middle-aged McGregor.
Yeah, I still think Mayweather got that.
I don't. Yeah,
I think he still has it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's skill, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But that would be interesting, at least. I mean, you kind of want to see it after the last fight.
Yeah, I don't know who is kind of the face of fighting besides Fury at the moment. Like Mayweather's obviously like he's just doing a bunch of expeditions. Fury.
Well, Wilder's coming back.
Is he coming back? Good. I like to hear that.
I think he's on tap to fight God, who's he fighting? Well, I
he
don't
should
know.
fight
It's
Joshua
not finalized yet, but I think who's the Mexican guy that
Andy Ruiz?
Yeah, he's on the list. There's a short list of a couple guys for Wilder to fight, and he's been talking the talk now, so it sounds like he's got his head back in the game. So we'll see. I mean,
we got
he's obviously the other big hitter.
We got Paul and Silva this month.
Yeah, that should be interesting too.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see because Silva knows how to fight straight up, so that'd be good to see. I don't know.
It's still a 20-something-year-old versus a 50-year-old. So
it is a difference, but like I said,
there's just still,
like you said, though, skill is skill, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, at least it's a guy who can hit and fight. And has gone through it, so it could be interesting
for sure.
I'll give him credit. At least he's fighting some people. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps it about up, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
How long we been going? An hour you said, right?
Hour.
That was good. Good hour back. Hopefully next week we could have a guest. Hopefully next week we could also have a in-progress update with the close. As Joe said, the call to action.
Yeah, I guess we'll try and do some video. I guess we have a guest, and the guest is not in the room. I don't know if the video will make as much sense. So maybe
we could do like a Zoom thing.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
That'd be cool. All right.
But yeah, so that's it. Thanks for episode 40. We're getting closer to 50. Maybe we'll do something special on 50. But you can seriously finally get around to helping us out by liking on all of the services, not just one. Even if you don't listen to them, it's free. We don't charge anything. And share, man. Seriously, tag us on Facebook, Instagram,
anything, really, anything.
All the social media things. Share, and just kind of help get the word out. It's not for everybody, but whatever. If we can bump our numbers a little bit, it'll help. So that's it. Thanks, Al. Peace out.